Ethan Carter stood frozen behind the couch, his hands pressed to his temples, as if holding his thoughts together was the only way to keep reality from shattering. "I can't believe this," he whispered. The living room was warm, softly lit by elegant lamps and a chandelier that reflected off polished walls. Luxury, comfort, success. Yet right now, it felt colder than any empty street at midnight. On the couch lay his wife, Sarah, still dressed in her light blue nurse scrubs, her hair slightly messy, her face pale with exhaustion. Her head leaned gently against the cushion, eyes closed. In her arms, curled like a small, fragile promise, slept their 5-year-old son, Noah. One tiny hand clutched the fabric of her sleeve, as if even in sleep he was afraid she might disappear. They looked peaceful, too peaceful, and that terrified Ethan more than anything else ever had. Ethan Carter was a man admired by many and understood by FETWT 38. He was the CEO of a rapidly growing tech security firm in Chicago. Investors praised his discipline. Employees respected his intelligence. Magazines called him relentless, focused, and unshakable. But those words never mentioned kind. Success had hardened him. Meetings came before meals. Deals mattered more than dinners. And somewhere along the way, his home had become a hotel, quiet, efficient, emotionally distant. Sarah used to laugh more. Before the long nights, before the unpaid overtime, before the hospital staff shortages, before Ethan started coming home late and leaving early. She was a pediatric nurse, one of the strongest people Ethan knew, though he rarely said it out loud. She carried the weight of sick children during the day and the weight of a silent marriage at night. And tonight something felt wrong. Ethan had arrived home earlier than usual, something he hadn't done in months. No lights were on, no toys scattered on the floor, no television noise, just silence. He'd called out once, "Sarah?" No answered. That's when he saw them, asleep on the couch, fully dressed, shoes still on. Noah's backpack near the door. Sarah's arm rested protectively around their son, her body curved as if shielding him from the world, even in sleep. Ethan stepped closer, his heart pounding. She looked drained, not just tired. Emptied. A folded piece of paper lay on the coffee table. His name was written on it. Ethan's hands trembled as he unfolded the note. "Ethan, I didn't want you to see me like this. I told myself I could handle everything. Work, Noah, the house, us. But tonight, my body just gave up. I didn't mean to fall asleep. I didn't mean to scare you. I just needed to rest. Even if only for a moment." Sarah, his chest tightened. This wasn't an accusation. It was worse. It was surrendered at the memory that haunted him. Ethan suddenly remembered something he had brushed off weeks ago. Sarah standing in the kitchen at midnight, her eyes red, her voice quiet. "I'm exhausted, Ethan." He had replied without looking up from his phone, "Just hang in there. Things will slow down." They never did. Instead, they piled up, until she collapsed right in front of him. Ethan knelt beside the couch. Carefully, so carefully, he lifted Noah and carried him to his bedroom, tucking him in, kissing his forehead like he used to when Noah was a baby. Then he returned to Sarah. She stirred as he gently shook her shoulder. "Sarah, wake up." Her eyes opened slowly, confusion flashing across her face before fear set in. "I'm sorry," she said immediately, sitting up. "I didn't mean to fall asleep. I was just—" Ethan stopped her. Tears filled his eyes. "No," he said. "I'm sorry." She froze. He had never said those words like that before. At the conversation that changed everything, they sat across from each other at the dining table while the house slept. For the first time in years, they talked. Not about schedules, not about bills, but about pain. Sarah admitted how close she was to burnout, how invisible she felt, how alone. Ethan admitted how success had blinded him, how he thought providing money was the same as providing love, how wrong he was. "I almost lost you tonight," he said quietly, "and I didn't even see it coming." The next morning, Ethan did something no one expected. He canceled meetings, he delegated responsibilities, he took a leave of absence. Not for a vacation. For his family, he started cooking dinner, taking Noah to school, waiting up for Sarah after late shifts. More importantly, he listened. Weeks passed, then months. Their house felt warmer, louder, alive again. Sarah laughed more. Noah smiled more. And Ethan learned that success meant nothing if the people you loved were silently breaking right in front. Viewed the moment he'd never forget one evening. Ethan walked into the living room and saw Sarah asleep on the couch again. This time, she was smiling. Noah was beside her, awake, drawing pictures. He whispered, "Mom's not tired sad anymore. She's just happy tired." Ethan swallowed hard. "I can't believe this," he thought. Not in shock, but in gratitude. Sometimes the biggest wake-up call isn't loud, that it's quiet. It's a tired soul falling asleep while carrying the weight of everyone else. And sometimes love isn't about providing more. It's about finally being present.